I'm Simon Pitts, and you're listening to the weekend edition of The Strand, Global Arts and Entertainment, brought to you from the BBC World Service. The young Maltese tenor Joseph Calleja's singing is known for guts and heart. His vibrant, generous style is acclaimed in the world's grandest opera houses, on stage at New York's Metropolitan Opera, at the elegant Vienna Staatsoper, and at London's Royal Opera House near us in Covent Garden. And now this former rock singer is on a mission to make opera more accessible, to take these rich musical experiences as widely as he can. So his latest album, called straightforwardly The Maltese Tenor, is a collection of appealing arias and a couple of duets from the French and Italian repertoires. On its release in the US, the BBC's Tom Service spoke with Joseph Calleja and asked why he feels so passionately about bringing opera to a larger audience.
I think that opera is not elitist and should not be elitist. And the way I discovered it, I was a rock singer. And
I used to cover what Iron Maiden, Metallica.
Iron Maiden, Metallica, Pearl Jam, Deep Purple, Nirvana, Queen. But then I was in my uncle's house and I discovered the movie The Great Caruso of Mario Lanza, who was, perhaps before Pavarotti, the first mediatic tenor.
Okay, so you mean he was the first sort of star across media?
He was the first crossover. He was the first crossover tenor. I think Mario Lanza was the first crossover tenor, but with a fully fledged operatic voice, in the body of a very handsome man and very charismatic man, and it was a lethal combination. And the minute I heard his voice in the movie, I was struck by the visceral experience of hearing this most beautiful sound coming out of this man's throat. And I said, as a singer, this is the most beautiful singing a man can possibly do. And that's how it started. I do believe we need to remove this elitist view about opera, because in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think that this is killing opera. At least the provincial numbers in the lesser cities, the audiences are dwindling, and we need to counteract that by making opera cool again, and not by singing badly or doing something wacky, but just show to people, listen, use all the mediums available to promote it. And opera, I believe, is of the people, and there is nothing wrong whatsoever if a person, after listening to a track of Coldplay, that he puts in a track from Puccini or Verdi. Doesn't mean you like all opera? No, I don't like all opera. I don't like all composers. But do I think that one's life without classical music would be a little bit poorer and emptier? I definitely believe so.
Joseph, if opera is dying, one of the ways it might be revivified is through different repertoire, partly slightly less familiar repertoire by, say, Donizetti, Bellini or Verdi, but then also new music. Michael Bolton, Haley Weston-Ra, Bruce Dickinson, Freddie Mercury. Okay, Freddie Mercury's dead, but they're singing new tunes. You're not, as an opera singer, singing new tunes. Shouldn't you sing new tunes in order to, or new operas? Isn't that also a way of keeping the art form alive?
I think that definitely modern compositions have their place, but unfortunately, maybe with some exceptions, there has been nothing composed which can beat Puccini, Verdi, Massenet, and these great composers.
No, that's your opinion, Joseph. That's also not true. A lot of people would say it's not true. If you think about, oh my goodness, the Leos Janáček, Benjamin Britten, to say nothing of Shostakovich or today's composers.
I'm talking about now, like the last 10 years or the last 5 years. And there hasn't been something composed, in my opinion, that can really rate with the great compositions that are as easy on the ear. Do they have to be easy on the ear? No, not necessarily. But I think that for starters, the people are attracted, the people are drawn to the opera houses by something that hits them immediately. And I think that if you do, let's say, the blind tasting of opera, and you get 20 folks that never listen to anything, and you play them music from Verdi, Puccini, Donizetti, and these greats, or Benjamin Britten, and then you play them something from something that has been composed in the last 5 years, I think you're going to have some surprising results towards the older guys. Remember, we're trying to attract new people to the opera house, and the way you do it is by carefully suggesting to them pieces that you know they will enjoy and it will hit them. And it does take some musical education to appreciate Philip Glass.
Joseph Calleja, whose new album, The Maltese Tenor, is out in the US on Monday, the 24th of October, and over the next couple of months he's performing live in the United States, Germany, France and Austria.